And in a reaction that we're picking up, National Conference Chief Farooq Abdullah has made a controversial statement saying that Taliban is a good government. So you have the NC patron now essentially giving out a reaction on the Afghanistan situation and now says Taliban is a good government, says that he thinks that they can run the country well and that they will make a good country if they maintain friendly relations with nations of the world. Farooq Abdullah backing the Taliban government in Afghanistan. This comes right after Taliban has announced the 33 ministers in the new government and Farooq Abdullah backing the Taliban government. Listen into that reaction and then we'll go on to more responses.
देखिए, अफ़गानिस्तान एक अलग मुल्क है और उन्हें अब उस मुल्क को संभालना है जो वहाँ पे आए हैं। मैं ये उम्मीद करूँगा कि वो इंसाफ हर एक से करेंगे और एक अच्छी हुकूमत चलाएंगे जिसमें वो इंसानी हकूक़ को मद्देनज़र रखेंगे और इस्लामी उसूल पे चलाएंगे। मैं साथ साथ ये भी कहूँगा कि उन्हें कोशिश करनी चाहिए हर मुल्क के साथ अपने दोस्ताना ताल्लुक पैदा करने का।
Zeenat, my colleague, is joining us on the phone line. Zeenat, this is shocking indeed. You know, despite what we've seen since 15th of August, the kind of violence that has been unleashed by Taliban, they've of course come out with the official announcement of their new government, the 33 ministers for the moment that have been named in the interim government. But Farooq Abdullah goes on to backing them openly, saying that they can make a good government and govern the people well.
Yes, Christian, we have been seeing the reaction coming from Dr. Farooq Abdullah, who was there to pay tributes to his late father, Sheikh Abdullah, because it's his death anniversary. And today, the Farooq Abdullah pitching for the Taliban government in Afghanistan when he said that he thinks that is going to be a good government and if the Taliban is able to make the friendly relation with the countries of the world. But at the time, what is happening in Afghanistan, particularly in Panjshir and even in Kabul, the women are distressed. They are completely dislocated. The world is completely focusing on what is happening in Afghanistan. But despite that, we are seeing Farooq Abdullah pitching for the government of Taliban in Afghanistan. So this is really sad what is happening and how the NC patron is pitching for the Taliban government. Although there have been reactions coming from the ground, which people are not agreeing about with the Farooq Abdullah statement, what he said about the Taliban government in Afghanistan. But at the same time, it seems that Farooq Abdullah, National Conference patron, wants to be more in news than seeing actually the real issues that are cropping up in Afghanistan after Taliban took over.
Absolutely. You know, because we know the kind of announcement that has been made by the Taliban. Zeenat, you have the Haqqani network playing a very active role in the new government. We know how the Al-Qaeda will also have a key footing in Taliban as far as the new regime is concerned. We know what's been going wrong the past so many days ever since Kabul fell. Yet you have the likes of Farooq Abdullah coming out and saying that this is a good government. And he's talking about Taliban maintaining good relations with other nations. There are nations who've come out and said that they will not recognize this government.
Oh, absolutely, Christian. We are seeing the world is talking about what is happening in Afghanistan. There are people, the governments in different parts of the world saying they don't favor what's happening in Afghanistan, particularly they're not favoring the Taliban government. And that is why we also saw the resistance front coming in and trying to take over Taliban. And it was one-to-one. But despite that, we are also seeing the Taliban being backed by the Pakistan Imran Khan government. And also we saw recently that the ISI chief was present there and having a talk with them. So all this says that who wants to be with Taliban at present and who completely disagree with what is happening in Afghanistan. And here in Jammu and Kashmir, we are now seeing the last conference patron coming in support of the Taliban government in Afghanistan.